some rain outdoors. The Mariners and Blue Jays will play for this series win. Scott Servais says Mariners won the first game behind the no-hitter of James Paxton on Tuesday. Blue Jays won last night 5-2 with a big 4-run 8th inning. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Mariners tonight. Nelson Cruz down in the cleanup spot. He's got good numbers against the Blue Jays, and he has good numbers against Jay Happ. 10 for 22. He is not homered against Happ, but he has 3 extra base hits. And Ryan Healy, this guy looks like he's going to really have a good game. He's hit well against Happ in the past, and over his last 5 games, he's hit .350.
Yeah, 2 hits against Jay, 2 home runs. Jay Happ will make his team-leading 8th start of the season. Last time out, he took his 2nd loss of the season, run his record of 4-2. Still a very respectable 367 earned run average. Did not have real good fastball command in that last start. Walked a season high 4 batters in 5 2/3 innings, but he does have really good numbers in his career versus the Mariners. He's 4-1 in 6 games against them.
Here's the first pitch of the game to Gene Segura downstairs for ball 1, and we're underway. Segura leading off. D. Gordon is out of the lineup tonight, at least for the start of this game. Ground ball, base hit through the left side. Segura had a 3-hit game last night. He's off to a good start tonight with a single against Jay Happ. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays defense, the way it sets up. Gurriel and Solarte up the middle on the infield. Donaldson back at third, Smoke at first, and Kevin Pillar, as always, anchoring the outfield defense.
Yeah, most games in center field in the American League. He's played every inning of every game so far for the Blue Jays. 329 innings so far this season, by far the most of any outfielder in the American League. He's been flawless.
Mitch Haniger hit 5th in the lineup last night. He's batting 2nd tonight against Happ. Happ misses with that fastball. Pat, you mentioned it the last time out. Jay Happ did not have good fastball command, and he went away from that pitch, and it led to 4 walks, a season high.
Yeah, and 3 earned runs, just 4 hits against Tampa Bay. I think that's his best pitch, that fastball. He just could not place it where he needed to last time out.
Downstairs, he misses again. It's 2-0 to Haniger. Jay Happ understands the approach. He has been very successful over the last 3 years using that fastball efficiently and using it a lot.
Been very confident with it. Says if I throw a good fastball, nobody's going to hit it.
There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Haniger, the right fielder.
Haniger very patient in last night's game. He worked 3 walks. Career high 3 walks in the game last night.
And the other at bat was a ground rule RBI double in the 3rd inning. Strike 2. Another good pitch from Happ. Is starting to get zeroed in into that strike zone.
He can cut that fastball inside or outside. He can feather it down and away if he needs to, or he can go upstairs with that fastball. Just keep throwing it. Make good pitches with your fastball.
Just off the plate. Jay has developed a 2-seam fastball and such fastball command that he's had a high ground ball percentage this season. 48.5% ground balls. That's the highest of his career.
Yeah, normally he was a fly ball type of pitcher. He's also limited the opposition to hitting just .218 this year.
Strike 3 called. Happ catches that outside corner about knee high for the first strikeout of the ball game.
Well, it just keeps rising and rising, his strikeout performance, because he's been very aggressive with his fastball. He can put it in a good spot. 2016, 20% strikeout percentage. It rose a little bit last year, but look at it, jumps all the way to 31% this year. And it's not just you keep pumping fastballs in there, it's putting the fastball where you need to. That last one was a paint job, right down and away.
Quality strikes for sure. Robinson Cano, one of 2 left-handers in the lineup, and Happ jumps ahead of him with a fastball strike. Cano went 0 for 5 in the game last night with a couple of strikeouts. He had 2 hits in the opener. He's 2 for 4 in the opener with an RBI and a run scored. With Segura at first. Cano gets a base hit through the right side. A ground ball, but it split the infielders, and that's the second single of the inning. Cano's third hit of the series. So Segura moves to second.
Just keeps climbing up the leaderboard. Robinson Cano against the Blue Jays. We've seen this for years when he spent all those seasons with the New York Yankees. That's over 2,400 hits now for Cano.
So here is Nelson Cruz. We mentioned his numbers against Jay Happ. He's 10 for 22 against Happ. 3 extra base hits and a couple of RBIs. There's a good high fastball for strike one.
Cruz didn't think so. He hits from an open stance and really dives into the ball. If you're going to go in there, you got to get deep.
Fly ball may have broken his bat. Granderson gives way to Pilar, who makes the catch. Cruz is retired, second out of the inning. So this is a big improvement that Jay has enjoyed over the last several years, the last 3 years or so. In years past, he'd give up a couple hits and then he was worried about those guys scoring. Now he kind of eliminates all the concern about that, just focuses on the hitter. So he gets a good hitter, Cruz, to fly out to center. Now he's got a chance to get out of the inning and strand those 2 singles that started the ball game.
You know, what was it against Cruz? It was strike one. I think that was really important. He gave up the hit to Cano and then it came right back with strike one. Not out of the woods yet. Healy's got some power. You got to be careful with him.
He's 2 for 4 against Happ. Both of those hits home runs. Strike one. For any pitcher, I don't care if you throw 105 or 65. If you throw strike one, you have the upper hand over the hitter. Now the hitter's thinking defensively. Okay, now I got to be ready for anything. Pushed him back with that cutter. Healy's riding a bit of a hot streak over his last 5 games. As we mentioned, he's hitting .350. A double, a home run, and 4 RBIs over those 5 games.
They pitched him tough yesterday with runners on base. He left 6 runners on base yesterday.
The Mariners were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Off the plate. They have given Healy quite a variety of locations to think about. Down low at the knees for strike one, inside for ball one, outside for ball two. Good pitch, down and away.
Yeah, if you throw down and away fastballs to right-handed hitters, chances are they're not going to get a good wood on it. They're not going to do a whole lot with that. They might be able to power a ball every now and then, but you can be safe down and away.
Segura's at second. He singled to start the game. Cano had a 1-out single. He's at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ryan Healy. Coming upstairs. They beat him upstairs with a fastball.
Perfect time for that. Everything was down. That last pitch before that last one, that pitch was down and away, and it was perfect time to change his eye level.
Healy got caught looking at strike 3 to end the top half of the first in last night's game. That was against Jaime Garcia. Inside. Happ already, you could tell he's got a little more zip on his fastball than he did last time out against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that one registered 95 miles an hour.
Saw Kyle Seager, a lefty, on deck. Full count, 2 outs. There go the runners. Foul tip off the catcher's mitt.
Looked like a changeup. 87 miles an hour, feathered it down and away. There's only been 3 games this year where Jay's thrown over 100 pitches. Mariners are making him work here in the first inning.
So the runners, Seager at second, Cano from first, will be moving on this pitch. 3-2, 2 outs. There they go, ball forward. So Happ walks Healy. That'll load the bases in the first. The Mariners scored a run in the first in last night's game, but it could have been much worse. Terrific play by the shortstop, Lourdes Gurriel. Got Segura in a rundown trying to score from third. Pete Walker making some notes on the first inning. Happ has now thrown 22 pitches in the first inning. Seager goes after the first pitch. The Blue Jays have really done a good job by economizing on the pitches by the starters. For the season coming into this game, they've averaged 16.3 pitches per the first inning. That's near the top in baseball. The Houston Astros lead it. They've thrown under 15 pitches in the first inning. And Happ is ahead quickly, 0-2.
They might have the best starting pitching in the American League.
Houston?
Yeah. Dominant. I mean, Verlander and Cole and Charlie Morton.
Lance McCullers Jr. and Dallas Keuchel. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So Happ can get out of it. He's ahead of Seager, 0-2. Oh, Seager thought about chasing, but laid off.
He's in swing mode right now. This whole series, Kyle has been in swing mode. You can see that he wants something out over the plate. Jay's done a good job of really jamming him up and keeping the ball inside to him.
The Mariners are 6th in the majors in batting with runners in scoring position. High fly ball. Hernandez looking up, watching this one go. Kyle Seager with a grand slam home run. That's the first for the Mariners this season. And they cash in. Seager delivering his 5th home run of the season, and the Mariners have a quick 4-0 lead.
He was in swing mode. I was hoping that they were going to throw something off the plate, see if he can get himself out. But he just caught too much of the plate.
For Seager, that's his 4th career grand slam.
Four-seamer, fastball. They wanted it off the plate. It squeaks back over the plate. Kyle Seager, lefty on lefty. You can see Russell playing off the plate, set up out there, and unfortunately got all of it.
This one's going to be out of play down the left side. Left-handers coming into this game had hit 122 off of Jay Happ with no home runs. That's the first home run he has given up to a lefty hitter this year. That one goes all the way back to the screen. Mike Zunino, the catcher. He homered in the opener. 2-run shot to right, hits this one up the middle. Deflected by Happ. Gurriel had to change directions and can't come up with it. Happ got a glove on it. Gurriel was going up the middle, anticipating that ball being near the bag at second, and then Happ deflected it. Gurriel had to change directions.
That's unfortunate. Pete Walker's going to come out and give his starter a little something. You can see the shortstop, Gurriel, is going over there. It looked like he had a shot at it, but once that ball was deflected, really no chance. It'll be an infield hit. Tries to put on the brakes. 4th hit of the inning.
30 pitches for Happ here in the first. This is a very good hitting ball club, the Mariners. They lost 2 of 3 to the Angels at home before coming here to Toronto and starting this series, and they didn't hit at all against the Angels. And they are 8-8 against the American League West. but they played well on the road. A 12-7 record. Zunino's at first for Heredia. Heredia is playing in center field as D. Gordon gets the night off. Heredia is 10 for 37, playing as a fourth outfielder for this Mariners ball club. He made a terrific throw last night in the 8th inning to gun down Kevin Pillar, trying to stretch a single into a double.
He had a few opportunities in that 8th inning. Blue Jays almost had 5 straight doubles. Seems like he was picking the ball off the wall all inning long.
Heredia is from Cuba. He was signed as a free agent in 2016. He's 27 years old. This is his 3rd season. 2-1 pitch outside, 3-1. Been a frustrating time for John Gibbons, dealing with the starting pitching that has not pitched to expectations. Many people, including myself, thought that this was going to be a real strength of the ball club, and I still think they can be, but they've gotten off to a slow start.
Yeah, they need to rack up some innings, give the bullpen a little bit of a blow. They've got the type of staff that if they stay healthy, they can challenge each other night after night.
Heredia walks. That's the 2nd walk in the inning, and the Mariners are going to send 9 men to the plate here in the 1st inning. So the Jays pitching has been a concern when you look at the rotation this season and where they rank as far as the whip is concerned. Happ is 18th in the American League, but then you get down to 51st, 52nd, 57th, and 61st for the 5-man rotation. Lots of base runners, lots of hits and walks per innings pitched. Three hits, 4 hits, 2 walks in this inning. Broken bat. Happ has to avoid the barrel of that bat. He'll throw to first. Romine's retired. But the Mariners off to a fast start. They score 4 runs on 1 swing of the bat. Kyle Seager hits the first grand slam for the Mariners this season, his 4th career grand slam. Mike Leake has a 4-run lead before he toes the river. What happened in that 1st inning? Happ didn't have his real good command. He threw some fastballs up to 95 miles an hour, but obviously the Mariners jumped on him for 4 runs on 4 hits in the 1st. Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. They've got some work to do. They're down early in this ball game. Young Elvis Solarte, over his last 11 games, has hit .370 with 4 doubles, 3 homers, and 11 ribbies. And then down in that 7th spot, Russell Martin has put up good numbers against the Mariners starter Mike Leake. He's 10 for 32 with a home run, a double, and 6 ribbies.
Blue Jays get Mike Leake tonight. Like you said, 30-year-old makes his 8th start of the season. Former Cincinnati Red pitcher. He came over here right at the trade deadline last season, August the 30th of last season. Came over here, but since then, since September 1st, he's 6-4 in 12 starts. He leads the Mariners starters in wins in innings pitched since being acquired last August.
Leake is a very good athlete. When he first got up to Cincinnati, he could really swing the bat, and he did a lot of damage with his bat. He's a good fielder. He'll work very quickly. Ground ball. They were playing in the shift. Robbie Cano from the outfield throws to first, one away. Leake will throw a lot of ground balls, and the infield is going to be important, but they've got a new center fielder tonight. D. Gordon gets the night off.
Yeah, dealing with a little bit of a toe issue, D. Gordon, so Guillermo Heredia, a plus defender, takes over in center field. You see him checking out his lineup card, his scouting report. He's a good defender with a very good arm, so he's their backup center fielder, gets the call tonight.
One out for Josh Donaldson. Donaldson hit a double in that 8th inning rally. He got it started with a leadoff double. That double snapped an 0 for 19 for Donaldson. He had not had a hit since Thursday's doubleheader in Cleveland. He had 2 homers and 2 doubles in that doubleheader. Donaldson drives it in the alley. That's going to go all the way to the wall and bounce over the wall for a. Didn't bounce over the wall. It bounced on top of the wall. Got in that scoreboard. It looked like it bounced over the wall, but it's a double for Donaldson.
Stayed in play. That was a carbon copy of his double that you were just talking about in the 8th inning. He hit a breaking ball last night up the alley in right center field. This time he takes fastball and drills it to right center field. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. Boy, that swing is a thing of beauty when he connects the other way.
Well, the Blue Jays need to answer right away. They trail 4-0, and Elvis Solarte goes after that first pitch. Mike Leake has really had a tough stretch over his last 4 starts. He's given up 20 runs on 32 hits in 20 2/3 innings. His record is 1-3 during those 4 starts with an .871 earned run average.
He will give up his share of base hits. Last time out, 5 1/3 innings, 108 pitches, and he gave up 7 hits. What the Blue Jays have to do is capitalize with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, just take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. Mentioned Solarte over his last 11 games, hit .370.
He got in on the doubles fest in the 8th inning last night. He sliced the ball down the left field line.
Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout. Zunino and Seager will slide and make a nice catch just before he hit that wall in front of the camera bay. Solarte's retired and he shattered his bat.
How about the aggressive play of both Zunino and Seager? Kyle Seager is a former Gold Glove winner. Look at the catcher going out there, but then he's called off. Both of them sliding, and Seager with the basket catch. You slide like that to break your momentum heading into that wall. What a beauty. There's the broken bat.
2 outs now for Teoscar Hernandez, who's hitting cleanup. That ball gets away from Zunino, and Donaldson's going to move up. Not sure what happened there, but he just clanked off the catcher's mitt.
Total cross-up, I'm sure. You can't go out there and talk about it. You don't want to waste it, so he's thinking breaking ball, and he gets a fastball.
Yeah, you could see him shifting to his right and then got crossed up. Teoscar had 3 hits last night, and the significance of those 3 hits, they all came with 2 strikes.
He's got 8 2-strike hits now this season. And I asked him, I said, is that something you wanted to work on? Because last year, at the end of last year, his last 10 at-bats of the season last year, he struck out 8 times. He said, I want to go and practice and try to hit better with 2 strikes. So he went to winter ball, and he would just stand there until he got the 2 strikes so he could practice in a game situation hitting with 2 strikes, and it's really worked. He looks more comfortable, and he's gained a lot of experience and a lot of confidence with 2 strikes.
That might have been a changeup as Lee gets out of it. He gives up a double and nothing more. Donaldson is strangled at third after 1 inning. Seattle has a 4-0 lead.
On 3 hits, but managed to keep the Blue Jays in the ball game despite serving up 5 walks. And maybe the veteran left-hander has his manager to thank. Here's what I mean. In a rare mound visit in the 1st inning, after Garcia loaded the bases, John Gibbons and not pitching coach Pete Walker was very frank in his message, quote, "Throw the darn ball over the plate. Simple, right?" He told us post-game, but it's not always quite that simple. According to Gibbons, Garcia needed to be reminded that he has such great movement on his pitches. There are times he tries to be a little too fine. The catchers will tell you that the ball is going everywhere, he said, and Garcia can use that to his advantage, but Gibbons believes Garcia should just get it to the plate and let the ball do what it wants to do. And Buck Garcia promptly responded by striking out Ryan Healy, looking to end that 1st inning.
I sure did. He was able to get out of there and take the words from John Gibbons and put him to good use. You know, Gibby was a catcher, so he actually could feel for Luke Maile behind the plate and said, "Hey man, don't make it so difficult. You've got great stuff, just trust it." Gene Segura got it started with a base hit. He's got another, maybe extra bases. He's around first, headed for second. Granderson will play it back in, and Segura is 2 for 2 already. They double his 12th of the season, and that'll bring Mitch Haniger to the plate. He was called out on strikes in the 1st inning, but he's having a good start to his season.
How about this? Quietly impressive. This is his American League ranks. 4th in home runs, 4th in RBIs now with 29, and he's 5th in OPS, on base plus slugging. Quietly doing a heck of a job. He's been elevated to number 2 in the lineup with D. Gordon out. Tell you what, Mitch Haniger has really put together 2 impressive starts to his seasons, both last year and this year.
Yeah, and last year he was derailed by an injury. Haniger is tied with Gary Sanchez with those 29 ribbies. Jed Lowry, Chris Davis of Oakland, and Didi Gregorius, the only ones that have driven in more than 29. Ground ball, that's going to get through. They're waving the runner around third. He's going to score without a throw, and Haniger has just driven in his 30th run of the season.
Blue Jays were playing in a pull situation with Haniger and a lefty on the mound, so he's going to cross up the defense. Sees a big hole on the right side. Solarte is shading towards that runner. No chance for the second baseman to get that one. Slows down when it gets into the outfield, the ball, so no chance to get Segura. 6th hit, 5th run.
That's his 20th RBI on the road this season. 30 for the season overall. 5-0 Seattle. Cano takes a strike. Jake Petrichka starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays. Happ has now thrown 44 pitches. And there's nobody out in the 2nd. 0-2. To a man, every one of these starters has done everything they can to get back on track. They've thrown extra, they've looked at video, they've worked with Dane Johnson and Pete Walker, the two pitching coaches. And it can be very frustrating when you come into a season. Expectations were sky high for this rotation. And nobody has taken it to heart more than that man right there. We have talked about it often. I think being a starting pitcher in the major leagues is the most difficult job on the team. You got to sit for 4 days, think about your last start. You have to work and you have to have baseball instincts. Certainly have to be talented to be successful. He strikes out.
There's a good pitch. You have to be an athlete. They all work hard, all the starters, and it's just a matter of time that they start pitching to their capabilities and their abilities. And once that happens night after night, then they start challenging each other. Hey, you threw 6 shutout innings, I'm going to go 7 shutout innings tonight. They get after one another.
Jay Happ and Marco Estrada are very close. They're always working out together. They're always encouraging one another. Nelson Cruz takes an inside strike. Cruz hit a soft fly ball to center field his first time up. There's that patented high fastball from Happ.
Yeah, it's just 91 miles an hour, but it's effective. Batters just can't seem to pick the ball up.
Jay made 20 starts for the Mariners in 2015. Blue Jays traded him to Seattle. He would later go to Pittsburgh at the end of that season, but he was teammates with Mike Zunino. In fact, threw most of his games to Zunino. Cruz and Cano also on the team at that time. Ground ball to Donaldson. Solarte. Smoke. Double play. So that's the 5th double play. The Jays have turned behind Jay Happ. 5-4-3 double play. The Mariners get another run in the top of the second. It's 5-0 Seattle for Mike Leake.
Receive this Let's Go Blue Jays bath towel presented by Boston Pizza. Then watch as the Blue Jays host the Oakland Athletics at 1:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, visit bluejays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Another great giveaway as the Blue Jays continue to have some impressive giveaways. This is Justin Smoke. He takes a strike from Mike Leake. Smoke has never faced Leake in the past. Same pitch, strike two. Mike Leake is 30 years old. He was originally drafted by Cincinnati. He was the 8th pick overall out of Arizona State University. He's interesting because he went right to the majors. He has only appeared in 2 minor league games, and that came in 2011 when he sent back in May to pitch 2 games in the minors. Smoke drives this one to left center. Left fielder Andrew Romine gets there and makes the catch. 1 out. Leake became the 21st player since the draft started in 1965 to go directly into the majors without spending any time in the minors. Of course, the Blue Jays had one of those players in John Olerud, who came up September 3rd, 1989, right off the campus of Washington State University.
Yeah, replaced Fred McGriff at first base in the 9th inning.
There have been some other interesting names. Mike Adamson out of University of Southern California was the first. 1967, he went right to the Orioles. There are some guys that came up and had outstanding careers. Bert Hooton came out of the University of Texas and went right to the Cubs in 1971. Dick Ruthven, who had a long career with the Phillies, he went to the Phillies out of Fresno State in 1973.
Hit my first major league home run off of Dick.
Kevin Pillar around first. He's thinking about going for 2. There's the throw from Romine. Pillar slides in ahead of the throw. Double number 16 for Kevin Pillar. That gives him the lead in the American League.
Another outstanding at bat when he fell behind. Once again, 2 strikes. Leake's going to try and throw that knuckle curve that he has, and Pillar just stays right with it. Doesn't overcommit too quickly, stays back, just uses his hands, and then rips it to left field. Now this is going to be a hustle double. Romine got over there very quickly and made a good throw, but Pillar just ran himself into a double.
Here is Russ Martin. Russ has had a lot of experience against Mike Leake. He's 10 for 32 with a home run against Leake. You got a chance to get the Blue Jays on the board. That slider he pulls off of and fouls it. 0-2.
He is throwing a lot of sliders this year. The most he has thrown over his last 3 years. And they're only hitting 156 against it. So the key to him, though, according to his pitching coach, Mel Stoudemire Jr., is that 2-seam fastball. He's got to establish that. He's got to be able to throw that for a strike to make that slider work.
High and deep to left. Get up, ball. Get up. Get out of here. Gone. Home run for Russell Martin. He hung him a slider, and Martin hammered it out of the ballpark. Home run number 5 for the Blue Jays catcher.
That's how you get back into the ball game very quickly. You get a double and then a home run.
Russell's starting to make some consistent contact. (5-2) Seattle.
You want to see an example of a hanging slider? He gets on the side of that ball. He just can't get that thing to bend away from the hitter. That really sped up the bat of Russell Martin. Catches it out in front. Bangs it off that back wall.
Hot shot. Seager playing at shortstop. Handles it on one hop and throws out Morales. We had mentioned Leake and the trouble he's had over his last 4 starts. He came into this game having surrendered 20 runs on 32 hits in his last 4 starts.
And that slider, Russell didn't have to reach for it. He just had to spin on it, wait long enough, catch it out in front. Russell played third base flawlessly last night. Tonight back behind the plate in his familiar catching position. It's Blue Jays right back in this.
Number 9 hitter tonight is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Breaking ball for strike 1. Gurriel batting .210 at the start of play tonight, 13 for 62. He has made the jump from Double-A to the big leagues. Ball was way off the plate outside. One and two. Bouncing ball, big hop for Seager at third. He unloads in a hurry, and that'll end the inning. But the Blue Jays get on the board. Kevin Pillar with a one-out double. He's cashed in by Russell Martin, the catcher. Martin got a breaking ball, stayed on the inner half, and he hammered it over the wall and left, his 5th home run of the season, and the Blue Jays are right back in it.
The NHL playoffs begin tomorrow. Join Ron, Nick, Kelly, and Elliot for Hockey Central tonight, followed by Game 1 between the Washington Capitals and the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's a Stanley Cup playoffs for you tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time, right here on Sportsnet.
That's a terrific panel to set you up for the playoffs, and they do a great job of breaking down all those series. There's a deep drive to left field, and Ryan Healy has just hit his 3rd career home run against Jay Happ. We had talked about Healy and how he looked like he was about ready to go off in this series, and the Blue Jays had kept him relatively quiet until that swing.
He's got 3 hits now in his career versus Jay, all of them leaving the ballpark. That's a pitch that was elevated. It looked like it might have cut just a little bit back over the plate. This kid's got some power. They got him basically for nothing from the Oakland A's. Here's the pitch. See that ball cut just a little bit right in his power swing.
Healy walked in his first at bat, scored on the Seager grand slam. So just like that, the Mariners get one of those runs back. Ball on the strike to the 3rd baseman. Ryan Healy, who went on the DL with a sprained ankle. That's his 6th home run. His 2nd home run in his last 6 games.
They've had some crazy injuries at the beginning of the season, but they're starting to get their guys back. Mike Zunino got hurt the day before the season started. Healy got hurt a couple of days into the season. They're starting to get their regulars back.
Little looper into center, long run for Pillar. He slides and makes the catch. You have to respect the power of Kyle Seager, and Pillar was deep. He had a long way to go.
And when that batter swings hard like Seager did and hits it off the end of the bat, momentarily it can fool an outfielder, but Pillar got a good read on it. And gives up his body again to make the catch. Sprays all those pellets in the outfield to make that catch.
One out now for Mike Zunino, the catcher. Zunino had a infield hit off the pitcher's glove, his first time up. He jumps on that first pitch. Six runs on 7 hits for Seattle. They've hit 2 home runs. Got that fastball in a good spot to Zunino.
A couple of strikeouts tonight for Jay Happ. These Seattle Mariners, they're tough to strike out. Put the ball in play. You're going to have to go back upstairs to get another one. But they've got the second lowest swing and miss percentage in the American League, right behind the team that's coming in tomorrow. The Boston Red Sox, another good hitting team.
Ball is driven to right. Hernandez reaches high over his shoulder to make the catch. Zunino flies out to right. The pitch tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Well, you look at the Red Sox, they have fallen out of first place. They're a game behind the New York Yankees now. The Yankees have won 8 in a row and 11 straight at home at Yankee Stadium.
And what, 17 out of 18? Something like that?
17 out of 18, the first time since 1953 that the Yankees have won 17 out of 18.
And they're not doing it against chopped liver. They're doing it against some really good ball clubs. I know the Angels are in that mix, and the Houston Astros, the Boston Red Sox, Cleveland Indians. Those are the teams they're beating.
And they're having some comeback wins against the closers.
They got Kimbrel last night for the Red Sox.
Yeah, they have really put a stretch together. We mentioned 8 in a row and 11 straight at home. They won 3 out of 4 against Houston in Houston. 1-2. Popped up. That'll be over the dugout and out of play. And then they swept the Indians in New York, and they won the first 2 games against Boston. Tonight, CC Sabathia is going up against Eduardo Rodriguez. CC's won his last 5 starts against the Red Sox. There was a lot of questions about their starting pitching, not so much anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Two balls and 2 strikes on the center fielder, Guillermo Heredia. The Blue Jays pen is quiet at the moment. Boy, they have laid off some of those tough fastballs upstairs. Andrew Romine is playing in left field tonight. He's their super utility player. He can play anywhere on the diamond. 3-2. Cut on and missed. Heredia strikes out. That ends the inning. But the Mariners add another run in the top of the 3rd. Ryan Healy, his 3rd hit against Jay Happ. They've all been home runs. And the Mariners have a 6-2 lead. Granderson, Donaldson, and Solarte, top of the order for the Blue Jays.
a hospital for sick children in downtown Toronto to offer their support to patients and their families. The event was made possible by Umps Care, a nonprofit organization founded by MLB umpires to enrich the lives of at-risk youth and children coping with serious illness. To date, the umpires have hosted 139 children's hospital events since the program began in 2006. So we just want to say terrific job by Jeff Kellogg, Marvin Hudson, James Hoy, and Quinn Walcott. Buck.
It is a terrific job. You know, these guys don't have any home games. They're always on the road. And Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire, he's the crew chief, been a good umpire for a long time. And they make sure they get out and do whatever they can to give back to the community. Kellogg is the crew chief, and he's got a good crew working with him. Marvin Hudson, longtime umpire, is working at first base. Quinn Wolcott, well, he got a shot in the arm last night on a foul ball. Granderson gets a piece of it to stay alive.
I think that is so cool that they did that they were able to visit sick kids hospital, given their time. You're right, there's no home games. We see these guys at the end of series and they've packed up the trunk and they're on to the next city. The four of them hanging out all summer long.
Yeah, they will get vacations, they will get time off, but they certainly don't have any home games, and they don't get to sit in the dugout in between innings. Granderson strikes out. That's the first out of the inning. Second strikeout for Leake.
Looked like a slider that backed up just a little bit. Got ahead of Curtis. Curtis can't catch up with that slider. Curtis has that walk rate up. And he's got some pop that time. Comes up empty.
Here's Josh Donaldson. He doubled up the alley in right center his first time up. Takes the first pitch strike. Donaldson needs one home run to tie the most all time as the Blue Jays third baseman. Kelly Gruber has 107. Donaldson has 106. Ed Sprague hit 103. Donaldson has another base hit. Takes it into right field. He's 2 for 2. Donaldson and Healy having a bit of a collision. They both were with Oakland. So
that's all fun and games. He's got a single to right field. You know, watch Josh against Healy. He sees him out there. He's going to act like he runs into a little collision.
Look at Marvin Hudson, the umpire. He knows what's going on. And there was Solarte with Donaldson at first. Solarte popped out in foul ground his first time up. He doesn't get cheated, that's for sure.
No, he goes up there swinging. He's been aggressive, especially when he gets ahead in the count. That's where he does his best damage. His last 10 games, he's hit 3 home runs.
Oh, a tough call. Solarte thought it was off the plate inside. It's strike 2. And now he's got a battle. Those are the numbers we mentioned at the start of the game. Over his last 11 games, he's bringing the bat well. 3 home runs during that stretch.
Using the whole field. That's why I'm really surprised they're in the shift against Solarte. His double went to left field in last night's game, batting left-handed. So if they're going to shift, you got to figure they're going to be coming inside or throwing some soft stuff to them. They go away.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
Odd. Pitching against your defense. To a pitch outside, Seager, the third baseman, is playing basically as a shortstop, but he's still shifted up the middle. Segura, Cano, and Healy on the infield. Solarte with a 1-2 count. Donaldson at first. He's 2 for 2 to start this game. There's another pitch away.
Firm. And maybe if he misses his spot, something soft. A lot of times you're thinking, okay, he's going to pitch me in or he's going to throw his changeup, but that's a fastball. Away.
Solarte doubled down the left field line in the 8th inning last night. The second double in that 8th inning rally. He's got everything covered right now. Now there's a heartbroken fan. He brought his glove. He's in the 5th deck, not really expecting to get a ball hit in his direction. He got up, he reached for it, and it went right through his hands.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, but you weren't sitting in the stands. Ground ball. This should be 2. Segura to Seager, and it is a double play. Solarte bounces into an inning-ending double play. Donaldson gets his second hit, but he's erased on the double play. We'll go to the 4th.
Lifetime opportunity to go all in with Russell Martin and the Blue Jays right here on the field at Rogers Center. Tickets to the 55 Poker Classic in support of Jays Care are on sale now. Visit jayscare.com/poker to sign up and secure your spot today.
The great event. Russell Martin enjoys hosting that event. They have it on the field here at Rogers Center, and it's in support of a great cause. Last night, the Sportsnet broadcast auction in support of Jays Care took place. There was another great success. Ivanka Osmak doing a terrific job as the hostess for that auction. Jay Happ drops that curveball in there for strike 1. Andrew Romine tapped back to the mound, his only time up, the end of the 1st inning. Romine is the brother of Austin Romine, the catcher for the Yankees, the backup catcher. Their father, Kevin Romine, played in the big leagues. Andrew is a switch hitter, and he plays all over the field, literally. Last year, he started all 9 positions.
All 9 positions in one game. Normally, an infielder is playing the outfield. I was watching their game the other day, and he hit a ball right off the top of the wall and was going crazy at second base. And his teammates were going crazy, and they were clapping and cheering, and I couldn't understand why. And then I looked at the stats. It was his first hit of the season. Right off the top of the wall. So his teammates were giving it to him.
Yeah, he's a very valuable player, especially on a good team like the Mariners.
Yes. Yeah,
you really get an extra guy on your team that can play so many different positions, plus the fact he's a switch hitter.
He's going to battle you. You mentioned the pedigree that he has. Comes from a baseball family. So he's going to battle you. Going to have to make a pitch to get him out.
This is his 9th big league season. Ground ball, base hit up the middle. He is now 2 for 20 for the season. Jay Happ has now thrown 74 pitches, and with that, Jake Petrichka will get up for a second time. Gene Segura is 2 for 2. He scored a pair of runs. He has a single and a double. Segura had 3 hits in the game last night. He was collared on Tuesday night. Went 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. Got another base hit. Segura pulls one through the left side of the infield. His 3rd hit in as many at bats.
This guy's a .333 hitter against the Blue Jays. Seems like he always comes up with multi-hit games. Been picking on that left side of the infield tonight. All 3 of his hits have gone past third base. This might be to buy a little time right here.
Segura had a 6-game hit streak to start the season. He hit 300 last year. He played 5 major league seasons before getting traded to Seattle in 2017. Mitch Haniger has an RBI single so far tonight. Well, how important is it for any team's offense to get that bottom of the order on base? When you get a hit from your 8th or 9th batter, start the inning, then you turn it over to the big bats top of the order, chances are you're going to score a run.
Well, you've got your on-base machines, if you will, at the top of the lineup. So if number 9 gets on, now you've got guys whose on-base percentage is high, and chances are they're going to get on. Then you're really dealing with some trouble, because now here come the RBI guys, the power guys. Jay needs a ground ball here. He's already had 1 double play tonight.
But they have done a good job of laying off that high fastball. And you mentioned it early, Pat, this Mariner team doesn't strike out very much.
They don't. They don't swing and miss that much either. 2nd lowest in the American League.
Breaking ball, base hit up the middle. Pilar comes up throwing, and they'll stop Romine at 3rd. Haniger's got his 2nd hit of the night. The bases are loaded here in the 4th, and nobody's out.
Went back to that curveball. John Gibbons, he's going to go and check that lineup card one more time. He's got a lefty in Cano coming up, and then a couple of right-handers. He's waiting for the best matchup.
Robinson Cano is 1 for 2. He had a single in the 1st.
Yeah, he's telling his first baseman Justin Smoke to play behind the runner. There's nobody out. You get a ground ball. Let's try and turn a double play. It's still early in the game. It's only the 4th inning.
4th inning, you get a double play, and you might give up a run, but you'll take 2 outs for a run. .11 career grand slams for the Mariners' 2nd baseman. He came into this series as a career .304 hitter.
And there's not many of those in baseball. Active players with a .300 average.
There's a swing at a high fastball, something that hasn't happened often tonight. Jay Happ gave up a grand slam in the 1st, an RBI single in the 2nd, and a solo home run in the 3rd. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Mariners lead it 6-2. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 10-4 to this point. Cano hits it to left field. Granderson will make the catch. Tagging at third is Romine. The throw goes to third, and Seager moves up. So Cano delivers the RBI on the sac fly, and that's going to be the end of the night for Jay Happ. John Gibbons has made the call to the bullpen. The Mariners with a 7-2 lead. Cano picks up the sacrifice fly, his 20th RBI of the season. And another rough outing for Jay Happ. So Jay will turn it over to Jake Petrichka. One out. Nelson Cruz, the batter. Runners at first and third, a run in. Rough first inning. He gave up a grand slam home run to Kyle Seager. 4 runs on 4 hits in the first. And now he gives way to Jake Petrichka, making his 3rd appearance for the Blue Jays.
They did it last night, and we talked about it in the opening with the bullpen. 5 innings last night from the starter, 4 very good innings from the bullpen. Tonight, they're going to have to do it again. Jake Petrichka has done really well since he has come back to the big leagues. Dealt with some arm issues over the wintertime, had some surgery, used the spring training time to build his arm back up, and here he is in the big leagues. He has stranded all 5 of his inherited runners through his first 2 games this year.
Nelson Cruz. There's that good sinking fastball. Petrichka really has a heck of a sinker. Cruz hit into a double play in the second. The Blue Jays would love a repeat of that here in the 4th. Segura did a good job of base running, tagging up and moving to third base.
Yeah, you never want to be making outs with your number 4 hitter coming up, but he tagged up and he went hard, and then he was reading the outfielder and then reading the throw. And he made it pretty easily to third base. So now he's just 90 feet away. Long fly balls will score him.
Haniger's at first. He is 2 for 3 so far in the game. Cruz rolls over the top of that inside sinker. 2-2 now. Cruz has had a lot of success in this ballpark. 12 homers, 40 ribbies in just 44 games. He's had his biggest games against the Blue Jays. 2 8 RBI games and a 7 RBI game against the Jays.
If you're going to go in there with that fastball, you got to go way in there like they did. They really bunch him in the outfield. Again, his strength, Cruz, left center to right center, so the outfielders are really bunching him, taking away the gaps. He's open down the right field line and the left field line. So if you're going to go in there, go way in there.
Off the end of the bat, Cruz gets a piece of it. Nelson Cruz is 0 for 4 going up against Jake Petrichka. Cruz is now 37 years old. He began his big league career with the Milwaukee Brewers in 2005. Then he went to Texas, and that's where he really became a good hitter. And his manager, Scott Service, had a lot to do with that. Cruz was scuffling. He was down in the minor leagues, and Service was the player development guy in Texas. He went down to the minor leagues and suggested that he opened up his stance. There goes the runner. Martin can't find the baseball. And Henniger has his 3rd stolen base of the season.
Cruz was just locking himself up, wasn't he? When he was a younger player, his stance, a little bit like Teoscar Hernandez when Hernandez came over here. Front foot was a little bit closer to the plate. That ball in the dirt, no chance for Martin. Tries to decoy the runner at 3rd base, but that wasn't going to happen. Infield's got to come in now.
3-2 to Cruz. Inside, that'll load the bases.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Thursday night into 6 as the fans get some extra activities here. The bases are loaded for the 2nd time tonight. Ryan Healy, he homered in his last at bat. He's 1 for 1. He walked and scored. He scored a couple of runs.
He already had 1 grand slam in his young career. Shows the kind of power that he possesses. Put that ball on the 2nd deck in left field.
This one's rolled to 3rd. Donaldson will step on the back, throw in 1st, and what a double play. Donaldson had no other option. He had to hope that the ball rolled to him while he had a foot on the bag, and he knew he had a shot at throwing out Healy. He didn't run that well. Josh played it perfectly. He put his right foot on the bag, waited for the ball to come to him. That gets the 2nd out at 3rd, and then he fires after grabbing it barehanded to complete the double play. Terrific play by Donaldson to get the Jays out of the inning. On the road here at Rogers Center in his last 3 road starts, they haven't gone very well. Opponents have hit .344 against him. His whip is nearly 2, and he's lasted just 4 2 2/3 innings per start.
Yeah, those are all of his starts on the road this year. He's only had 3 of them. Cleveland, they knocked him around. So did the White Sox and Minnesota. His 5 innings at Minnesota. So if you're the Blue Jays, just keep pecking away. It's 7-2. It's only in the 4th inning. Just keep pecking away.
Teoscar Hernandez hitting cleanup. Takes strike 2. Hernandez struck out swinging in the first. Last night, Hernandez had 3 hits, all with 2 strikes. He has shortened up his swing, more concerned about putting the bat on the ball than hitting it a long way.
One of those, a 440-foot home run to center field. His other 2 hits went to right field. That time out in front of the changeup.
Leake gets him for a second time. That's 3 strikeouts for the Mariners righty.
Fastball, slider, and then a changeup. Gets the spin, the depth on that ball that he needed. Mess up the timing and pick up that strikeout. Second time he's gotten Teoscar.
We mentioned Leake is a quick worker. He always has been. He's a very athletic pitcher. Doesn't waste much time out there. There's a high changeup for strike 2.
9 major league seasons already for Mike Leake. He was originally drafted by Oakland in the 7th round, didn't sign, went to college, and then was a first rounder by the Cincinnati Reds. 8th overall.
He played 6 years in Cincinnati, then he was traded to the Giants in July of 2015, and after that season he became a free agent. 1-2. He signed a 5-year $80 million contract with the Cardinals. That will take him through 2019 with an option for 2020. Mariners are on the hook for that. Smoke hits it on the ground. That's going to split the 2 defenders. Cano looking at Segura. Segura looking at Cano. Hey, I thought you had that.
Yeah, Robbie Cano, I thought, had a shot at that ball, and they just stopped. Little miscommunication between the middle infielders. Both of them camped out on the right side of the infield. Cano goes and stops, and there he is looking at him saying, I thought you had it. But Smokey will take it.
Absolutely, he'll take it. That's the 5th hit for the Blue Jays. The Mariners have doubled them up in that category. Kevin Pillar has 1 of the 5 hits. He had a double with 1 out in the second. Swinging a drive. That's going to hook, just fouled down the left side. He had the distance, just got out in front of it. Pillar, when you look at his numbers across the leaderboard, he leads the American League with 16 doubles. He has 46 hits. He's in the top 10 in that category. He now has 22 extra base hits. .22 extra base hits, ties him with Eduardo Escobar of the Minnesota Twins and Mike Trout of the Angels.
There are the doubles. That double just put him among the leaderboard. He just looks so confident at the plate and comfortable at the plate.
You know what I've noticed lately, and I've been really watching closely, is there's no windup in his swing. He just gets a nice rhythm going. It's a very short approach to the ball. That's how he's able to hit it from foul line to foul line. Pulls this one foul past Luis Rivera.
Confidence and experience. Being in this situation night after night after night, pretty much you get used to it and you're not overwhelmed. You know you're not going to get a hit every single night, but you're going to play every night. You're going to have these chances and just do something with it.
Broken bat, Leake to Cano, right on the money. We told you Mike Leake's a good athlete. He made a nice play, made an easy double play. A 1-4-3 double play. That ends the bottom of the 4th. We'll go to the 5th. The Mariners with a 7-2 lead. Time now for a Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddall from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
will receive a Kevin Pillar Cape replica jersey. Join us in the 200-level WestJet flight deck as we've created an oasis dedicated to pampering your mom. Then the Blue Jays will take on the Boston Red Sox at 1:07 p.m. Don't you dare miss it. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Buck?
Thank you very much, Hazel. It will be a great celebration of Mother's Day here on Sunday, so make sure you come down and join us. Jake Petrichka in relief of Jay Happ. He walked the first batter he faced, Nelson Cruz, but then got Ryan Healy to ground into a very nifty double play started by Josh Donaldson. Fly ball deep to center. Pillar is going to watch this one go. Kyle Seager has hit his second home run of the night. He had a grand slam in the first, and now he has a solo shot leading off the fifth.
He was also robbed of a hit, if you remember his last time up by Pillar, the great play out in center field. Fall behind. It was a sinker on the first pitch and then came in with a fastball, and he blasted it to center field. Home run number 6, RBI number 21 for Kyle Seager. He's putting together a nice night. What a series he's put together, offensively and defensively.
He made the great play to save the no-hitter on Tuesday night. A grand slam in the first, and now a solo home run. That was right out over the plate. Remember, the Blue Jays had pounded him inside and had a lot of success. That ball's out over the plate, and he got full extension as he drives it into the seats in center.
There's been a lot of teams that have had success pounding him inside. Came into this series under 100 on pitches inside. Boy, the minute you go out over the plate against good hitters, they make you pay.
For Seager, that's his 7th career multi-home run game. Mike Zunino now with a 2-2 count. For those of you not that familiar with Jake Petrichka, he's now 29 years old. He turned 30 in June. He has pitched 6 years in the majors, first 5 years with the Chicago White Sox. Slider that Zunino gets a piece of. Petrichka appeared in a career high 67 games for the White Sox in 2014. Had a very good ERA at 2.96 and threw a career high 73 innings in relief.
And he blew gas too coming out of that bullpen. He had the look of a closer when he first came up.
Full count to Zunino. The Mariners catcher is 1 for 2. Chopped foul.
I think it's going to be a dogfight in the American League West all season long. This team's going to be right in the thick of it, along with the Angels in Houston.
Petrichka walks Zunino, so the first 2 reach. Seager hit a home run. Zunino walks here in the 5th.
I think as long as they stay healthy, they're going to be right there because they've got guys like Kyle Seager. Exit velocity of 107 on a line. Projected distance 417 feet. They've got a good offense. I think it depends on if they stay healthy and if they can make moves right at the deadline to pick up some players to fortify the roster.
Well, you saw D. Gordon. He has had the night off, and they've put up 8 runs without their igniter. D. Gordon, top of the order. Opportunity to give him a night off. The Mariners will go to Detroit to play a series against the Tigers, and then they've got a makeup game, a single game against the Twins for an earlier postponement. So Gordon can really enjoy this off day with his teammates scoring 8 runs.
And they're going to go home, and next Friday they're going to celebrate James Paxton's no-hitter. Have a night at the ballpark next Friday, May the 18th.
Detroit will be at Safeco Field. Slider, big swing from Heredia. 1-2 now. The makeup game in Minnesota is rescheduled of a postponed game on April 8th. So the Mariners, as if their travel wasn't bad enough already, now they have to lose an off day. Heredia strikes out. First out of the inning here in the 5th. Heredia strikes out for a second time.
They might have the worst travel in baseball, only because they're so far away from everybody.
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, even their closest trip to Oakland's about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's their closest. And they lose a lot of off days having to travel cross country to come back to the East Coast.
Andrew Romine goes after that first pitch. You know, you don't really want to blame any one situation for the reason that the Mariners haven't won in such a long time, but travel has something to do with it. They have not appeared in the postseason since 2001.
They've had some great players, generational type players. There's one of them right there.
Edgar Martinez, who is now the hitting coach next to the manager. Ken Griffey Jr., of course, a great lefty pitcher. The big unit, Randy Johnson. Little squibber out in front of home. Petrichka better hurry. Not in time. Romine hustles up the line to beat it out for an infield hit. Romine is 2 for 3. He tapped one right out in front of home, and Petrichka just couldn't make the play in time.
Yeah, it went about 40 feet. Right off the end of the bat, it just dies out into the turf. You can see how that ball just never seemed to get to the pitcher. He had to wait on it for so long. That gave Romine plenty of time to get down the line. Watch the ball. Just almost stop. Check up. Hit number 12.
Gene Segura has already gone 3 for 3. Aaron Loup starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays down in their left field bullpen. Segura had 3 hits last night. That's his season high. He's done it now 6 times.
Very simple approach at the plate. Short swing. He was a big prospect for the Los Angeles Angels. Actually was traded for some decent players already in his young career. I know Zach Greinke was one of those players he was traded for.
Yeah, he went from LA to Milwaukee for Zach Greinke. And then he went from Milwaukee to Arizona for Aaron Hill. The best trade for the Mariners is the last trade that brought him here. He and Mitch Haniger came here for Ketel Marte and Taijuan Walker from Arizona.
Taijuan Walker had his season shut down with some Tommy John surgery.
2-2 outside. He didn't offer.
Yeah,
it's a full count.
Anytime you can get an everyday shortstop who can hit and run and field, and an everyday right fielder who can hit and hit for power, you make that trade every day.
Popped up on the infield. Solarte, the second baseman, infield fly rule was in effect. So Segura is retired for the first time tonight. 2 outs. Seattle has hit 3 home runs in this ball game. Kyle Seager has hit 2. Ryan Healy hit the other. Mitch Haniger is 2 for 3 with an RBI. Everybody knows that Didi Gregorius is having a terrific season. Well, with the RBI Haniger delivered in the second, he is tied Gregorius with 30 RBIs. Didi is tied for 3rd in the American League. Haniger bounces it to short. That'll end the inning. The force at second base. But the Mariners get another run. Kyle Seager with a leadoff solo home run, his 2nd home run of the ball game. And the Mariners have an 8-2 lead.
Community partners. Sportsnet Fantasy Hockey Pool Playoffs Edition is now bigger than ever. Build your roster for your chance to win the ultimate grand prize, an all-new 2019 Ram 1500 plus $25,000 in cash. It's a Sportsnet Fantasy Hockey Pool Playoffs Edition. Enter now.
Russell Martin hit a home run his first time up, a 2-run shot back in the second. We had mentioned Martin had success against Leake in the past. Coming into this game, he was 10 for 32 with a home run. He has now driven in 8 runs against the Mariners righty. Ball on the strike.
Want to keep everything away from him. He flipped the slider up there and it stayed on the inner half. And Russell knocked it out of the ballpark. Now everything has been away to Russell this at bat. A couple of fastballs off the plate, one called a strike, one called a ball, and then a swinging slider.
You mentioned earlier how the Mariners were in a very competitive division in the American League West with Houston, the Angels, Seattle, and Oakland. Texas is having a bad start to their season. They're 15-24. But Oakland just a game under 500, and they've got a powerful lineup.
Yeah. They score a lot of runs via the home run. Pretty deep bullpen. We'll see them in our next homestand.
There's a breaking ball away from Martin, and he strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Leake.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Nathan Phillips Square in downtown Toronto, all lit up on this very comfortable evening in Toronto. Kendrys Morales grounded out to the third baseman, Kyle Seager. who was playing in the shift. Seager was basically at straightaway shortstop when he made the play. Morales just 12 hits for the season. It's been a real mystery to why he hasn't been able to get things going.
Trying to break that offer. There's some hits the other way if he wants to go over there. They've been throwing a lot of off-speed pitches to him. A lot. He's been chasing them out of the strike zone.
Ground ball. That's hit right into the shift. That's Segura, the shortstop. Basically playing straight away at second base. Morales is now 0 for 27.
Kept the ball down against Kendrick, and he just hasn't been able to get the ball in the air. That's his game, to get the ball in the air. Extra base hits, hit some home runs. He's hit 28 of them last year. Just hasn't been able to elevate those low pitches this year.
Lourdes Gurriel chases that first breaking ball well off the plate outside. Ground ball to the shortstop, backhanded by Segura. Mike Leake has a very efficient bottom of the fifth. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. We'll go to the 6th. The Mariners have an 8-2 lead.
Free and start your own streak for a chance at $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today.
Very difficult to pick a big league hitter that's going to get a hit every single night. That's a very challenging contest. Blue Jays have a challenge ahead of them. They are down by 6 as the Mariners are set to start the top half of the 6th inning. New pitcher will be the lefty Aaron Loup. He's in to face Robinson Cano.
He's pitched one time already in this series. That was the first game of the series, an inning. Had a strikeout in a walk. Much better than the numbers indicate. He has been throwing much better lately. Says all I'm trying to do now is keep the ball down. I feel like if I keep the ball down, good things are going to happen.
Robinson Cano takes one way outside for ball 1. Cano is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. He singled and scored in the first inning, struck out in the second. Had the sac fly in the 4th. Hits this one into center field. That's going to hang up for Kevin Pillar. Cano's retired, went away.
Very simple approach for Aaron Loup. He's been doing it for years. Fastball, slider, a little bit of a changeup. And again, he said, I got to keep the ball down. When I do that, I'm going to be okay. And his numbers look like it over his last few outings. It's been much better.
This is the 7th season in the big leagues for Aaron Loup. He's now 30 years old. He will be a free agent after this season. He was originally a 9th-round pick out of Tulane University in New Orleans in 2009. He's had a good career. Had early success. His first season, he came up late in 2012. He made a career-high 71 appearances in 2014. Had a very good ERA at 3.15.
Last 2 outings have been scoreless. He threw an inning and a third at Tampa. Mentioned that inning his last time out. That was in that no-hit game the other day by James Paxton. Just 13 pitches in that game.
Nelson Cruz is 0 for 2 so far. That's a good pitch.
Keep it down. Stick that fastball inside corner against those right-handers.
Cruz walks for a second time. So 1-out walk here in the 6th.
The Lawn and Garden event is on now until May 15th. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Here's how.
Decent crowd on hand here for this Thursday night series finale against the Seattle Mariners. The Boston Red Sox will be here at Rogers Center tomorrow night, starting a 3-game weekend series. Pitching matchup is a good one on the opener. Chris Sale against Aaron Sanchez. Marco Estrada will start Thursday or Saturday afternoon, and I have read that David Price said he is good to go for Saturday's start.
Been battling some carpal tunnel syndrome from what I've been reading.
I'm not sure they know what it is, but he's had some problems in his hand. Drew Pomerantz and Marcus Stroman. That's the pitching matchup for Sunday afternoon. Healy hits it high and deep, but that's well foul. Mentioned the Mariners will go from here to Detroit to play a 3-game series against the Tigers. Lefty Marco Gonzalez will open up against the former Blue Jay Matt Boyd. That's tomorrow night. And then Felix Hernandez and Michael Fulmer on Saturday. James Paxton will make his first start after the no-hitter. That's on Sunday against Blaine Hardy. A couple of lefties. There's a line drive base hit into right. Ryan Healy, his second hit.
I love his approach at the plate. He looks so calm and under control. Again, he gets great leverage at the plate with the bats. Puts everything into it. Good finish. He can hit the ball the other way.
Here's Kyle Seager. He's had quite a night. Seager has 2 home runs, including his 4th career grand slam. Two home runs gives him 7 career multi-home run games. Breaking ball. Granderson has a beat on it. He makes the catch. Seager's retired. Base runners go back to their bases. Mike Zunino, the catcher, he has singled, flied out, and walked in his 3 plate appearances. Seattle has 8 runs on 13 hits, and they've hit 3 home runs tonight.
Aaron Loop has been in 15 games already this season, but he's only been scored upon in 4 of those. Giving up his just 1 home run this year.
You're right about the number of quality pitches Loop has thrown. He's throwing a lot more quality strikes down in the zone, whether it's fastball, slider, or the changeup.
And it's by design. He thought he was making good pitches on the corners. And then when he went back and looked at some of the film, said, you know what, those are too high. If I can get the ball down, and you can see where that first pitch is, it was down. He'll have success.
It's a good fastball at 94. He jumps ahead of Zunino, a ball and 2 strikes.
Good pitch.
Russell Martin thought it was such a good pitch, he's going to go out and talk about it. That's kind of interesting in this situation. Martin obviously felt it was a strike, would have ended the at-bat. Just to go out and make sure Loop understands. Hey, throw that pitch again and we got him.
I think he's upset with the call. That's
he's
what I
waiting for
think.
the umpire to come out.
Yeah.
He certainly took his time. And now the indication to the bench is that that's a mound visit.
That's a great pitch. You could see it cross the plate from that high overhead camera. If you're Aaron Loop, you can't throw it any better than that.
2 balls and 2 strikes on the Mariners catcher. Comes right back with the same pitch, but this one's a bit off the plate. It's a full count. So the runners will be moving on the pitch. Cruz from second, Healy from first as Heredia waits on deck. There go the runners. Fouled straight back to the screen. Top of the 6th inning. Mike Leake has held the Blue Jays to 2 runs on 5 hits. And he has been roughed up coming into this game in his previous 4 starts. Not the case tonight. Zunino strikes out. That ends the inning. The Mariners strand 2. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be the top of the order for the Blue Jays against Mike Leake, Granderson, Donaldson, and Solarte. of getting this Mariner team back to the postseason, because it has been a long time since they played in the postseason. The Padres haven't been in the postseason since 2006. That's an 11-year drought. They played in the division series. The Marlins, the last time they appeared in the postseason was 2003, a 14-year drought. But the longest drought is held by the Mariners. Ichiro's rookie season in 2001, 16-year drought. And that was a historic season for the Mariners. They were 116-46 for the regular season. They beat the Cleveland Indians in a division series and lost a tough series to the Yankees, 4-1 in the championship series. But that was a terrific ball club. Edgar Martinez was the DH on that team. He had 306 that year. Ichiro, we mentioned, he was a rookie. He had 350 for the Mariners. He stole 56 bases in his rookie season.
Rookie of the year and MVP, I believe, that season.
Yes, he was. A terrific season. Rookie of the year, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, and the mayor of Seattle.
Keep going. 116 wins. Wow.
Now, that's a good start for the Blue Jays as Granderson works Leake for the walk. That's the first walk issued by Mike Leake.
He is walking at a career high 19% rate. Guys just don't want to throw him strikes.
He's so patient as well, and he rarely swings at the first pitch. So Josh Donaldson's had a good start to his night, double in the first, single in the third. Goes after the first pitch and pulls it foul.
Tell you what, he's heating up. He had a double his last time up at last night's game, and then you mentioned the 2 hits he has tonight. You just watch guys hit and you see if they're getting comfortable, and he's starting to look real comfortable at the plate.
Granderson not going to run in this situation. Donaldson takes his strike. The Blue Jays came back with a big 8th inning in last night's game to win 5-2. It was their 12th comeback win of the season, second only to the Boston Red Sox, who have 14 such wins. This would be a historic comeback. They trail by 6. And Donaldson strikes out. Pitch down and away. For Leake, that's his 5th strikeout of the ball game. First time they've retired Donaldson tonight. And there was Solarte. He's 0 for 2.
Leake's not really much of a strikeout type of pitcher. His season high is 7.
Ground ball, base hit through the right side. Granderson will stop at second. Solarte goes after that first pitch and gets his first base hit of the night.
They played him to pull again. And again, the Blue Jays get a ball between Segura and Cano. 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, and he still is able to get the ball through.
Smoke had a similar hit in the 4th when he just split the shortstop and second baseman at a ground ball into right. Teoscar Hernandez has struck out twice on that Leak changeup. One away. Leak has thrown him an assortment of off-speed pitches.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's his game, Mike Leake. Second of all, he's a dangerous hitter at the plate. Getting a lot more respect after the home runs that he's been hitting lately.
Mike Leake didn't like the offerings from his catcher, Mike Zunino, so they'll do it all over again. High fly ball deep to center field. Get up, ball. That ball's going to die. No, it's going to go up against the wall as Heredia played it perfectly. Granderson tagged at second and he moves to third. Heredia, a very good outfielder. We saw that when he played in left field. Last night, Hernandez just missed hitting another home run.
It sounded like it looked like it had a chance to get out of the ballpark, but Heredia does the right thing. It's hit high enough and he gets right back to the wall. Finds the wall, times his leap perfectly, and takes away extra bases from Teoscar Hernandez. That ball looked like it had a chance. Leak thought that was a 3-run home run, but he's very happy that his center fielder was able to haul it in right in front of the wall.
2 outs now. Boy, you talk about playing it perfectly. He got back to the wall. He reached out to see exactly where he was, and then he went straight up and made the catch high on the wall.
Good defender. Very good defender. We saw that last night from left field. Playing straight away. That's how you do it. Right to the wall. Find it with your opposite hand. Haul it in.
Smoke a big swing at that off-speed pitch. It's 2 balls and a strike. Leak trying to work out of his 6th inning. Tim Mazer loosening up for the Blue Jays. That's a high strike, kind of surprise Smoke. Two and two now. Smoke had a terrific at bat late in the game last night in the 8th inning. He had a leadoff double in the 8th inning. First of 4 doubles the Blue Jays would hit in the 8th inning. He also had a 12-pitch walk in the 6th inning in last night's game. The second longest at bat of his career. He had a 16-pitch at bat earlier in his career, and he's called out on strikes. Smoke didn't like 2 of those strike calls during that at bat. Felt one was up and away and thought that one was off the plate inside. So Leak strands a pair as we go to the 7th. Mike Leake and the Mariners have an 8-2 lead.
Abreu and the White Sox face Chris Bryant and the Cubs in the Battle of Chicago. That's tomorrow on Sportsnet beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. That's always an interesting matchup when you have the crosstown teams. Cubs from the north side, the White Sox from the south side. Guillermo Heredia made a nice defensive play, catching that ball off the center field fence.
The offense hasn't caught up to his defense, but he looks like he's a pretty good defender. Once it does, they might have a pretty decent player.
Heredia is 27 years old. He started the season in AAA Tacoma, where he went 5 for 13 in 6 games. He's one of those unusual players that is a left-handed thrower and a right-handed hitter. Ricky Henderson, of course, maybe the best of all times. Cleon Jones of the New York Mets, also.
He was a great player.
Hit right-handed through left-handed. Called strike 3. Heredia strikes out for a 3rd time, this time caught looking.
You know, Aaron's talking about painting pitches. It's not good enough just to hit the corner. I got to hit the corner and I've got to keep it low. That's where you want to live, right there. That's at the knees, right on the corner. Not much that the hitter can do. Look at that, and the angle that that ball is coming in. Good pitch.
Gets ahead of Andrew Romine with a good fastball. Romine is 2 for 3. Picked up season hits number 2 and 3 tonight. Came into the game 1 for 18. Seattle got off to a quick start. They had a grand slam home run off the bat of Kyle Seager, and they scored in the first 5 innings of this game.
Aaron had to come in and stop that. Luke threw up a 0 last time, and he jumps ahead here.
This is the 2nd inning of work for Aaron Loup. That breaking ball missed way outside, all the way back to the backstop.
He tried to just put that ball in there, try to guide it in there, and just came out of his hands funny. He's changed his grip a little bit on his breaking ball, going back to an older grip that helps him to get a little bit more depth on that slider. There's another good fastball.
3 strikeouts in a row for Aaron Loup. Gets the first 2 here, both looking.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
$22,315 fans in attendance here tonight. This is the 3rd and final game of this 3-game series. Boston will be here tomorrow night. The Blue Jays have yet to go to Fenway Park, but the Red Sox are making their 2nd trip here to Rogers Center.
They're putting it to the Yankees tonight, but they're in a delay.
Boston has a 4-0 lead, top of the 5th, and they are in a delay. Mookie Betts 3 for 3, his average up to 364. Hanley Ramirez is having a nice start to his season. He's 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Ramirez has 24 ribbies for the season.
Blue Jays are going to miss Eduardo Rodriguez, who's pitching tonight. He's got a 1-hitter going against the Yankees.
Yeah, he's really pitched well this year. He has 6 strikeouts over 4 innings. Giancarlo Stanton has the only hit against Rodriguez, and as we mentioned, they are in a delay. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Segura. He offers and checks his swing. Mitch Haniger is on deck. He's had a 2-hit night. Ground ball up the middle. Solarte knocks it down. He won't have a play. So Gene Segura, his 4th hit of the night, his first 4-hit game of the season. He has 7 hits in the last 2 games.
Yeah, and he might have another chance here. It's only the 7th inning. He's had 5 plate appearances, 3 singles and a double. He has great bat control. Can handle pitches way in. Just slaps the ball and hits the ball hard all over the place. So if you don't have D. Gordon in your lineup, he's your regular leadoff hitter. You bring Gene Segura in there, and he's been on base 4 times.
We mentioned the Mariners have scored in the first 5 innings of this game. It's the 18th time in franchise history that they have allowed a team to score in the first 5 innings of a game. The last time it happened was August 23rd, 2013. The Astros scored in their first 5 innings.
20
frustrating stretch for John Gibbons.
Yeah, and the pitching. What was the Astros? 2013, did you say?
Yeah. Before they got good.
Before they got good. That's what I was trying to figure out. Was that when they were good or when they weren't good?
Mitch Haniger, the right fielder, is 2 for 4. Haniger picked up his 30th RBI with an RBI single in the 2nd. High fly ball deep to right field, but Hernandez has room right on the edge of the warning track. He hauls it in. That ends the inning. So Luke, with a couple of strikeouts, strands a base runner in the 7th. We're to the bottom of the 7th. Pilar, Martin, and Morales. Mike Leake allowing just 6 hits to this point. Presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Kyle Seager got it going early with a first-inning grand slam, and just for good measure, he added a 2nd home run, a leadoff shot in the 5th. Home runs number 5 and 6 for the Mariners' 3rd baseman. Kevin Pillar picked up another double. He scored in the 2nd on Russ Martin's 2-run homer. It's a high pop-up behind 3rd base. Segura, the shortstop, makes the catch.
Mike Leake has just kept the Blue Jays off balance by that much. A little changeup, a little fastball, a little spinning slider. Now working into the 7th inning. He did that 1 time this year. His first start.
April 1st at home against Cleveland. That's fouled off Martin. He went 7 innings and allowed 2 runs on 5 hits against the Indians, picking up his first win, a 5-4 win over Cleveland. He lost his last start. Martin hits it sharply, but right to the shortstop, Segura. 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th.
The 2018 Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
One of the most beautiful sights in sports. Dodger Center right next to CN Tower, all lit up at night. 2 outs for Kendrys Morales. There's a breaking ball for strike 1. Mark Zebchinski, the former Blue Jay, starting to loosen up for Seattle. He's had a nice career.
Yes. He's had to bounce around a little bit, but he's a lefty, throws strikes. He can pitch as long as he wants to.
Oh, 2. Bounced in the dirt. One ball, 2 strikes. Cutter pulled foul. Mike Leake has gotten a lot of run support tonight. Over his last 14 starts in which he has received 4 or more runs of support, he's got a 9-1 record. So he got the 4 runs in the first inning.
Trying to finish off that 7th inning for just the 2nd time this year. Jays have hit a couple of balls hard, Pilar and then Martin in the 2nd inning. They haven't had a lot of luck lately.
Morales has grounded out twice. Once to the third baseman, once to the shortstop, both while playing him in the shift. Full count now. Morales' over has gone to 0 for 27. And there you can see the shift utilized by the Mariners.
So he's got to get the ball in the air.
That's a high pop-up. Long run for Seager. He's in foul territory. He gets there and makes the catch, and that ends the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Leake in the bottom of the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. The Mariners with an 8-2 lead. Over his 3 1/3 inning. Seattle scored 7 earned runs on 10 hits. He had a couple of walks and 3 strikeouts. And he was out of the game early. And the Mariners, they have scored 8 runs on 14 hits, including 3 home runs, and now Tim Mesa will take over for Aaron Loop.
Yeah, the big blows were the home runs. They've scored 6 of their 8 runs via the home runs. Blue Jays having trouble keeping it in the park. Tim Mesa back into the game for the Blue Jays. He's following Patricia, Aaron Loop, and now Mesa. Tim has been recalled from AAA team 3 times already this year. Been up and down. Been that swing man this year with his options. Chance to get some pretty good hitters now here in the 8th inning.
Robbie Cano goes after the first pitch and drives it over Pillar's head, and that will bounce out of play. A first pitch ground rule double for Cano. His second hit of the night. He's 2 for 4 with a sacrifice fly.
Well, he has been doing this for years and years. He rocks back, gets his hands ready, and then just rips that ball up the alley in left center field.
Boy, that's a rhythmic swing, isn't it? He rocks back, gets his weight shift going, and then uses his hands. 9th double of the season for Cano. Nelson Cruz has gone 0 for 2 with a pair of walks.
Talking to some of the Seattle people today, and they were saying this is the guy right here they have to get going again. He's got some power. He's got 7 home runs, but only 17 driven in. He's had some big years in Seattle, and they want to get his bat going.
Off the end of the bat, Mesa will flip it to first as Cruz is retired. Cano goes to third on the play.
It's time to fire up your senses. Your best experience begins with Broil King. Available at your local home hardware. Here's how.
The Mariners have 8 runs on 15 hits. Their season high in hits for a 9-inning game, 17. Back on April 14th against the A's. Brian Healy has had a good night. He's 2 for 3. He walked and scored in the first, hit a leadoff home run in the third. He also added a single in the 6th. One count now on the big first baseman. He gets jammed and pops it up over near the dugout. Russell Martin runs out of room. Lourdes Gurriel had ran all the way home to cover home from shortstop.
How about that for being into the ball game? They have him not halfway on the left side of the infield because of the right-handed batter. Russell Martin had to leave the home plate area to go after that pop-up, so there was nobody covering home. He alertly got there just in case.
Mesa was over in foul territory. Smoke had gone toward the dugout. A heads-up play by a youngster. He sprinted home. He was waiting at home should there be a catch and a possible tag up at third.
Nobody else saw it. That's the surprise of the whole thing. It's the youngest player in terms of major league experience picked up on that.
Mesa's ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Mesa's got all of the pitches to be a very good relief pitcher. He throws hard, 95 with the fastball, got a good breaking ball. What he needs to do is throw that breaking ball in the strike zone initially and then have it break out of the zone. When it comes out of your hand and it's a ball already, nobody will chase it.
Yeah, good hitters see it right away.
But if all of the tools are there.
Yeah. A left-hander who throws 95. You can make things happen if you do that. And he's got a pretty decent slider. It's a little inconsistent at times.
Ground ball. Cano has to hold at third. Bounce and fires across the diamond. 2 away. Drive of the game brought to you by the new 2018 Civic Si. When it leads off, it leads for good.
Well, Kyle Seager has been the man offensively tonight for the Seattle Mariners. First inning, bases loaded. That's going to plate 4 runs with 1 swing, but he wasn't done yet. He came right back in the 5th inning, and this is his 2nd home run of the game. He now has 7 multi-home run games in his career. His career high for RBIs in a game is 6. He's got 5 tonight, another one out there. He's never had a 3 home run game in his career.
Average of 243. He has had 20 or more home runs 6 straight seasons. High fly ball into shallow right. Solarte was out there to begin with. He makes the catch that ends the inning. Good job by Tim Mays. He gets around the leadoff double. Now time for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Kevin Barker from the Samsung broadcast studio. Mark Zepchinski coming in.
May 20th for Junior Jays Weekend presented by Boston Pizza. Then watch the Athletics take on your Toronto Blue Jays at 1:07 p.m. Eastern. Start times for both days. Special price kids tickets in the 200 level outfield and 500 level. And after the ball game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. For tickets, BlueJays.com. And Buck, just a quick Randall Grichuk update. He has progressed well from that right knee injury to the point that he's swinging off a tee, and he's now ramping up baseball activity. So encouraging news on Randall Grichuk.
Yes, it is for sure. And Randall Grichuk is out with a knee issue as he hopes to make his way back soon. This is Mark Zepchinski making his 13th appearance of the season. Kind of a rough start for Zepchinski. His numbers are pretty well inflated.
But he's been around. He has pitched for the Blue Jays, originally a 5th round draft pick in 2007 out of college. Pitched for the Jays and the Cardinals, the Indians, Padres, Athletics, Nationals, and now the Mariners. This is his 2nd season in Seattle.
Made 23 starts for the Blue Jays before he was traded to St. Louis in that 8-player trade in July of 2011. Little chopper right out in front of home. Gurriel is going to beat it out. So Gurriel starts it off with an infield hit, and let's go back to watch what he did on defense in the last half inning. He's at shortstop when this ball is popped up.
Now remember, there's a runner at third base. Look at home plate is vacant. And he's the one who sprints in there just in case one of those fielders comes up with a pop-up, make a circus catch. Somebody's got to be at home because that runner looked like he was thinking about tagging up.
Cano had tagged up at third, so Gurriel came home. Pinch hitter now is Anthony Alford. He's batting for Curtis Granderson against the lefty pitcher Zepchinski. Curtis finishes up the night 0 for 2 with a walk.
But that's a heads-up play. A young player recognizing that and then hustling to cover the plate.
Well, we saw him make a heads-up play in the field in last night's game in the first inning when he came up with a hot shot off the bat of Nelson Cruz and threw home to get Segura in a rundown. He certainly plays well beyond his experience. Alford takes it outside. It's 3-0.
Here's the play that you were just talking about. It was the first inning. It looked like the Mariners were going to score another run, but he takes that ball on a short hop. He lost his footing momentarily, but then fired home, and look where he goes. He goes to third base to back up. I mean, just a heads-up play.
Anthony Alford, the pinch hitter, walks on 4 pitches. So the first 2 reach here in the 8th inning. The Blue Jays scored 4 runs in the 8th inning in last night's game, and Scott Service, he's not waiting any longer. He is making the call. So Zepchinski comes up, gives up an infield hit, and walks the batter, and he's out of the ball game. There'll be a pitching change as the Blue Jays try to mount a rally here in the 8th inning. Zepchinski is out of the game. Jason Bradford, the right-hander who pitched in the game last night, coming on to face Josh Donaldson. In the 8th, it gives up an infield hit to Gurriel and then walks the pinch hitter Anthony Alford on 4 pitches, and he turns things over to Jason Bradford.
Yeah, that's why they brought the right-hander in, because you're facing Donaldson. Bradford's already got 3 wins this season. He pitched in last night's game, just 2/3 of an inning, actually got a hold in that game. His first hold of the season, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, a walk, and a strikeout.
Gave up a double to Teoscar Hernandez. Struck out Donaldson. That's who he's facing now. Donaldson hits it sharply past the third baseman into left field. They will stop Gurriel, but bases are loaded. Nobody out. Can they do it again late in the game?
They're the best in baseball at scoring runs from the 7th inning on, and they're at it again. Last night, 4 runs in the 8th inning to win that game. And there are the numbers. They don't lie.
73 runs from the 7th inning on. More than the Yankees, more than the Astros. Yervis Solarte has a grand slam, and he's going to face a different pitcher. James Pazos, the hard-throwing lefty, will come in and turn Solarte around. The switch hitter will bat right hand. Jason Bradford faces one batter, gives up a base hit, and he is done. The lefty Pazos has thrown the ball very well for Seattle. He's coming on to try to shut down this Blue Jay rally in the 8th. The lefty James Pazos has not allowed a run over his last 10 1/3 consecutive innings over 9 outings, heading back to April 10th. Last time he gave up a run.
Look at those numbers. A whip under 1, strikeouts per 9 innings. At 10, he's only walked 1 batter. Fastball, slider, changeup. That's what you're going to get. He's got a good arm. He needs to be able to throw strikes, and this year he's doing it. In the past, been a little wild at times. But right now, he's on a nice little streak. Those 14 strikeouts in just 12 1/3 innings this year.
The Blue Jays have hit 4 grand slams this season. Solarte hit the last in Cleveland during the doubleheader. Takes a strike. He thought it was inside. .355 with the bases loaded. That's what he has now. Still nobody out here in the 8th. Good cut. 0-2.
All over that fastball. It's fastball, slider. Pazos comes right at you. He was originally with the Yankees organization. They were able to get him for a minor league pitcher back in 2016. And it looks like he's starting to come into his own.
Ground ball. Cano at second. Flips to Seager for 1. Back to first. Double play. Gurriel comes in to score. There'll be no RBI for Solarte. Big double play for Pazos. But Cano was a long way from second base when he flipped that right on the money to Seager.
Yeah, look at that from the backhand, and he gives it to him in plenty of time where he can find the bag. Seager, find the ball, find the bag, and then have a strong throw. That's a big double play turned by the Mariners. They have done that a few times tonight. That's the 3rd time the Blue Jays have hit into a double play tonight.
Double play in the 3rd, end of the inning. Double play in the 4th, end of the inning. Teoscar Hernandez is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Pops it up. It's going to reach the seats. Well out of play. The Blue Jays got up to a great start, batting .343 with runners in scoring position. They were 12-5 on April 19th, and since then, they've hit just 179 with runners in scoring position.
That's just part of the equation.
That's the worst in baseball. Two and one. Zepchinski walked a batter, gave up an infield hit. Bradford gave up a hit to the only batter he faced, and Pazos gets a double play. Two and two now.
It's a pretty good fastball. When he was younger, when he was with the Yankees, remember watching him in the big leagues, and even with the Mariners, he just walked too many players. He always had the big arm with the big strikeout potential. Seems like he has harnessed that fastball now.
That's out of play. For some reason, it takes left-handers a little bit longer to gain control of their pitches. Pazos is now 27. He's from Gilbert, Arizona.
Yeah.
He drafted by the Yankees, as you mentioned.
Just turned 27 this week. 4 days ago. That's right around the time where those lefties seem to figure it out. And he seems to have figured out just one walk this season.
Well, what a job by Pazos. He comes out of the bullpen, gets a double play, and strikes out Hernandez. He minimizes the damage, allowing just one run. That'll be charged to Zepchinski as we go to the ninth.
Toronto Blue Jays. Come visit us at the Toronto Eaton Centre, Rogers Centre, gates 1 and 5, and every in-stadium kiosk. For more information, visit jshop.ca or call 1-877-JSHOP. To the ninth, back up to Buck Martinez and Pat Powell.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. A lot of people in the Jays shop checking out the latest in the Blue Jays gear. Anthony Alford walked as a pinch hitter for Curtis Granderson, takes over defensively in left field. Mike Zunino goes after the first pitch and hits it a mile to left field, and that ball is up off the Budweiser side. Zunino hit 25 home runs a year ago, the third most by a catcher in the big leagues. Only Gary Sanchez and Sal Perez hit more home runs than for Zunino. That's his 6th of the season.
And 4th tonight for the Seattle Mariners. They now have 9 runs, 7 of them coming on home runs. They came into this game 4th in the major leagues. Percentage of runs scored via the home run. This is a fastball right over the heart of the plate. And Zunino with that big power stroke knocks it out of here.
It's the 4th time the Mariners have hit 4 home runs in a game. It's the first time since April 29th when they were at Cleveland that they hit 4 against the Indians. For Zunino, that's his second hit of the night. He's 2 for 4 with his 6th home run. Hasn't been a good night for Heredia. He walked in the first, but has since struck out his last 3 at-bats.
You look at the Mariners and you say, okay, they've got some pretty good hitters, but I wouldn't say they've got great power hitters as that ball's hit out the center field. Then you start looking into the stats and they hit their share of home runs. They score a lot of runs via the home run.
Kind of like the Blue Jays.
A lot like the Blue Jays.
When you look at their lineup, you say, well, there's not too many home run hitters, and then you start to count them up. 431 feet. It came off the bat at 111 miles per hour. Zunino started the season on the DL with a strained oblique. He injured right at the end of spring training, so he's just now rounding into form. Andrew Romine got the start in left field as D. Gordon got the game off, so Heredia moves from left to center, and Romine has responded with a 2-hit game. The Mariners now with 16 hits in the game, one off their season high. They had 17 hits against the A's back on April 14th.
Wow.
How about Romine with a 3-hit game? So that'll tie their season high, their 17th hit of the ball game. Hits right off the bag at second.
Boy, that is a line drive that was headed right at Tim Meza. And luckily he gets down it. It's going to hit second base. Watch this. Get out of the way.
I don't know how in the world he got out of the way of this one.
I don't know. That ball was slicing right back at him and ducks just at the last second and actually hits second base. That is a frightening scene.
Well, he never got a glove up in time. He's just fortunate it didn't hit him. And you can see Romine was concerned. But he has 3 hits. Segura has 4 hits. This is his 6th plate appearance. His first 4-hit game of the season. The Mariners have scored 9 runs on 17 hits, and the Boston Red Sox are coming to town tomorrow.
They can hit too. Segura's got 25 RBIs as a shortstop. Only Didi Gregorius, Manny Machado have more RBIs as a shortstop.
They mentioned Segura has 4 hits. He's had a 6-hit game in his career. Hits that ball to third. Donaldson will go to first. It's a foul ball.
Yeah, off his foot. That was slider down and in. Hit right off of Segura's foot.
Segura had 6 hits in an extra inning game while playing for the Brewers. He went 6 for 7 in a 14-inning game. He had over half the hits. And he's called out on strikes. So Segura strikes out. He will probably finish up 4 for 6 in this game tonight.
Pretty good fastball right there. Right on the inside part of the plate. Average was over 300 for Segura.
Edwin Diaz, the closer, hasn't pitched for a while, so even though the Mariners have a 6-run lead, he'll probably get some work in. Mitch Haniger, the right fielder, he's got 2 hits tonight. The Mariners have scored 9 runs, but they've left 10 on base. They've left a base runner on in every inning but the 3rd. Kyle Seager with a big night, 5 RBIs with a pair of home runs, including a grand slam. Seager had a tough game last night. He was hit by a pitch in his chest in the first at bat, walked, finished up 0 for 2. The Mariners have done a terrific job in rubber matches of this season. Coming into this game, which was a rubber match game, they were 5-1 to decide the outcome in a 3-run series.
Watch out.
Well, that's a net, and why that's put up there. So Haniger strikes out, that ends the inning. But the Mariners get another run. Mike Zunino with a long home run to start the 9th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. It's all Seattle.
Flag event is back. It's the best time to find a Honda you love.
The Mariners on the verge of winning this series to improve their road record in series to 5-0-2. They've done a good job on the road. They'll improve their road record to 13-7. And here's their closer in a non-save situation.
Yeah, he needs some work. He last worked 5 days ago versus the Los Angeles Angels. Big fastball from Diaz. Fastball slider. Opposing hitters are 6 for 61 against the right-hander this year. He has struck out 31 of the 73 batters that he has faced. Free and easy and an explosive fastball.
He leads the American League in games finished and in saves. As you mentioned, he's only allowed 6 hits in 18 1/3. He's just 24 years old. There's that good fastball at 97. Diaz was drafted out of the Cognizant Military Academy in Puerto Rico. 3rd round pick by the Mariners in 2012. This is his 3rd season. He had 34 saves in 2017. Dalton Pompey has grabbed the bat. He will hit for Kevin Pillar. Richard Urania has his bat ready. Mariners scored 4 in the first, 1 in the second. The Blue Jays answered with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the second, so it was a 5-2 game at that point. Smoke strikes out, 1 away in the 9th.
That is 32 strikeouts now for Diaz. Only Aroldis Chapman has more strikeouts in the American League. What a weapon to have a guy like this at the end of your games. Fastball, slider, and he's just getting better and better.
Dalton Pompey will get a pinch hit at bat. He's batting for Kevin Pillar. Pillar finishes up 1 for 3 with his 16th double of the season. Pompey 2 for 8 so far since coming up from AAA Buffalo. Josh Donaldson had 3 hits in the game. 3 for 4. A double and a couple of singles. Diaz just turning that fastball loose.
That's what bullpens are made of anymore. Young arms that can reach triple digits. They're going to go up and in now, this time with a fastball.
Pompey fouls it off. Russell Martin hit a 2-run home run in the second inning, his 5th of the season. That was off Mike Leake. Leake goes 7 innings, allows 2 runs on 6 hits. He's in line for the win. Leake would improve to 4-3. Happ will take the loss at 4-3 as well.
Got to regroup quickly. The Red Sox are coming to town. And you got Chris Sale tomorrow night.
Chris Sale and Aaron Sanchez will open up the 3-game series. Now make sure you tune in for that. On Saturday, it should be David Price against Marco Estrada, and then Drew Pomerantz and Marcus Stroman on Sunday, the series finale. Aledmus Diaz is on the disabled list as he's coming back from that sprained ankle. Diaz strikes out Pompey with a hard slider. Blue Jays down to their last out. Richard Urania will get an opportunity here. Urania will bat for Russell Martin.
There's the slider, and he throws it with a lot of confidence. Not afraid to throw that 3-2.
Richard Urania comes off the bench swinging. This is Urania's first at bat. He came in as a defensive replacement, his only appearance so far.
The Jays might be making a roster move. Giovanni Urshela, from what we understand, might be on his way here to Toronto. Player that they just picked up from Cleveland.
Oh, and 2. Well, gets away from Zunino. Tough start for the ball club when they fell behind 4-0 in the first inning, and then Mariners would add a single run in the next 4 innings. Take an 8-2 lead. They scored a run in the 9th on Mike Zunino's long home run. Urania fouls it past first.
Making things tough for Diaz is Mr. Urania.
The Blue Jays have gone 8-11 over the last 19 games after starting out 12-3. And that's the ball game. Diaz gets some work in, and he strikes out the side to end the ball game. The Mariners take 2 of 3 here. They got a no-hitter on Tuesday night. Kyle Seager got everything started with his 4th career grand slam. Gene Segura had a 4-hit game, and the Mariners tie their season high with 17 hits.
And they win the series by winning this game. This is a team I think you're going to be hearing from in the American League West. It's going to go right down with Houston and the Angels. Seattle's going to be right there. Again, the Blue Jays have to regroup quickly. Chris Sale, the Boston Red Sox are coming to town. You got to turn it around and forget about this one very quickly tomorrow.
Chris Sale, Aaron Sanchez will open things up as Scott Service and the Mariners win this series. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you tomorrow night from Rogers Center. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Ken and Ivanka.